Hello everyone, today we will be working on setting these trusses up here in the garage. Not a real tall order today, but we got a great all machine and we want to make the best with it. So just kind of going to show you what we're kind of doing. We got some of the lower walls sheeted. These trusses are a little bit different. They have a room actually framed into the truss. Makeshift, you can see we're getting it ready. We're going to cut some lookouts and actually sheet it before we put it up. So stuff down on the ground is probably 5-10 times faster done there than up in the air. So trying to be a little smart as we can. I mean, we don't do it all the time, but with what we know. And what we're basically doing is we're going to start our pattern right here on the outside wall, and I'll kind of show you how we do it. They're 2 foot on center. But for you who don't quite understand what that means if you pull from side to side of truss, it'll be 2 foot on the side to side, same side, or 2 foot from center to center. So with your drywall it hits, and your sheeting it hits. So if I show you, it's right here. I'm on one side of the mark to one side, and it is exactly 2 foot. I always put a hash coming down so you can see which side. With the shadow, it might be kind of hard to see a hash this way. That means which direction it goes. So they're all the same that way except the first one. The first one's slightly different. So if you look, it's 23 1/4 instead of 24. But since our material is 1.5 inches, you do that so when you put your sheeting on, like from the outside corner, it's going to land. If you do the first one, then they're all like that, right? But say you did a 4 foot sheet from there to here, that means a 4 foot sheet's going to come out centered in your stud. So right there. So you catch 3/4 of an inch, and gives you 3/4 of an inch to catch, because a 2x6 or whatever is actually 1.5 inches. So it kind of gives you 1.5 inches to work with, so you catch about 3/4. So when you actually pull measurement, that's the way most is done. Same thing with 16 inch on center. It's the same principle. It's just 16 inch instead of 2 foot. So that's what we do. That kind of makes sense. So we are getting this end truss ready, as you can kind of see. We are doing first what these notches are. They're called lookouts. This truss wasn't engineered for lookouts, so we are cutting them in. And what it does is they're slots for a 2x4 to fit in like that. And where this 2x4 comes back to the truss back here, this is the end one. It sticks out past or whatever your soffit is, and then you attach your fascia and your soffit for that. We did 2 foot on centers, so when the roof sheeting goes, the 4 foot lands on a seam. We are adding blocking in here because when we put our fascia on, it's a 2x6 and gives us something to attach to with our screws for our steel. And then we are also putting all these blocks in, which we calculated our pattern from over this wall. We just pulled up, calculated it out, and so we know that our screw pattern will stay 2 foot on center. Same thing with this OSB. We calculated that distance, and it's going to be hanging past to where it'll be just shy, so we don't hit the other wall sheeting. And we are about ready to set these trusses. How'd that happen? Hold on. Okay, so we have these garage trusses set. These are pretty tall, and they were actually kind of difficult to set because they were so tall. Harder than the house ones actually, because I couldn't walk up in here and reach the top. So I had to use a ladder, and as the machine would hold it with the chain and the peak, I would have to go walk up with the ladder and nail these boards on. And then once I nailed it, I would have the operator lower the machine and then unhook the chain and then so on. So it's pretty high. It took a while. But we got these set. I got to cut these tails straight yet. But this other side is ready for sheeting. Not this end, but this end. So that's kind of what the lookouts do. They kind of give some support to the fascia. We chose to go an 18-inch soffit because the building's pretty big. I think it'll turn out pretty nice. You can kind of see what I did here. So I pulled whatever I want, snapped a line, and then cut them with the saw, and then put this subfascia on. Had somebody sight me straight, tapped it in and out. And now when I put that sheeting on top and I staple it, it'll keep it perfectly straight. Same thing with this. So it looks pretty good. So we're going to be getting those sheets on. Got to get the machine over here to go get them. Lift them up. We're going with heavier sheeting for our steel. That way gives us something better to screw to.